You are holy, and your name is holy, and holy beings praise you every day forever. For you are an almighty King, great and holy. Blessed are you, Hashem, the Almighty, the Holy One. This is the third and final bracha of praise, Shevach. Like virtually all parts of prayer, this blessing sends a mirrored message back to us. We're reminded of the line in Leviticus and Vayikra, "You shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy." The blessing makes us aware of the holiness of God, which in turn reminds us to be holy ourselves. Holy is a difficult word to wrestle with, especially in modernity, because something that's Kadosh, holy, is set apart. We face the difficulty of knowing that God is set apart from all the finitude of this world, but also that God is so infinite that God permeates everything. So too with the Jewish people, we're a nation set apart to have a particular relationship with the Torah, but it's for the purpose of having something to offer to the rest of the world. Perhaps a more graspable way of understanding Kedusha, holiness, is that something that is holy is not instrumental toward another purpose. It is valuable for its own sake. For example, it's not that we should feed the hungry and home the houseless because there will be a payoff to the rest of society. There might be, but we must take care of people for their own sake because their inner light is holy. Indeed, their souls are holy, and they have incalculable dignity. Similarly with God, there is value to what God does for us, but we are in awe of God for God's own sake. What we say to God, "You are holy," we are saying, "You are sacred, you are inherently valuable, you are distinct." We are saying that though the human being is holy, God is holy in a way that transcends even that. The Baal HaTanya, the founder of Chabad Hasidism, explains, though God permeates all the upper and lower worlds, from the peak of all levels to this lowly physical world, as it is written, "Do I not fill the heavens and the earth?" I myself indeed, meaning his being and his essence, as it were, are not only his glory. Even so, God is Kadosh, holy, and distinct from the upper and nether worlds, and is not at all contained in them. Heaven forfend, in the way, for example, that the soul of man is contained in the body. People, by contrast, contain the contradiction that we are all unique to one another, yet we all have a unique spark of God's holiness. And God, as always, is one. Rabbi Nachman explains this while discussing the importance of friendship and how it relates to prayer. You should also discuss religious matters with your friend, Rabbi Nachman teaches, because every single Jew possesses a unique good point, nekuda tova, which is not found in any other, and from which his friend can receive inspiration. Each person must receive from every other, as it is written, and receiving one from the other, Targum on Isaiah 6:3. It's also necessary for each individual to talk directly with his maker in order for the good point within his own self to be revealed and radiate from his mouth to his heart. Rabbi Nachman elaborates elsewhere, for in every Jew there is something precious, an aspect of a nekudah, which his friend does not have, as in the story of Abaye and Abba Umna, where they answered him, "Your deeds do not match those of Abba Umna." And with this aspect in which he surpasses his friend, he influences, enlightens, and inspires his friend's heart. And his friend has to receive inspiration and this aspect from him, as in one receives from the other. During the leader's repetition of the Amidah, we have a special part called the Kedusha. While you don't need a minyan to say the Amidah, you do need it for the repetition. And the pinnacle of that is the Kedusha. We've mentioned that during the Amidah, we keep our feet together like angels. But here we actually repeat the words of angels from Isaiah 6:3. Kadosh, 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 Hashem Sevakot, Melot Kol Haaretz Kevodo. Holy, holy, holy is Hashem of hosts. The fullness of all the earth is God's glory. With each mention of holy, Kadosh, we stand up on our toes, imagining ourselves getting just a little bit closer to heaven, like angels flying. This highlights even more the seeming massive contradiction. God is set apart, so far above us, that we stand on our tiptoes to envision it. And yet we're supposed to also know that the whole world is filled with God's glory. We see that holiness is an idea above the reality of this world. But at the same time, it's a reality for us to uncover within this world if we only cultivate the consciousness and will to find it. In that way, holiness is never something we can quite attain, grasp, or own. Rather, we must strive to always be longing for it. So what accounts for the almost dueling ideas that God's glory pervades the whole world, yet we perceive God as almost utterly separate? One answer offered by Rabbi Nachman is pride. When we become consumed by pride in ourselves, we blind ourselves to the glory of God. His student, Rabbi Nassan, wrote, "The Rebbe said that the main reason people fall is because of pride. In actual fact, there's no such thing as a fall because God is present in every place. For the whole earth is full of his glory," Isaiah 6:3. But when a person has pride, God then says, "I and he cannot both dwell in the world." Finding God everywhere should be easy because God is everywhere. But we learn that it takes spiritual practice, such as learning to not be so self-absorbed, to actually see and feel what is right in front of us, around us, and within us. And by seeing the sanctity of all things, we can do the important work of revealing the holiness in ourselves. The medieval commentator Abraham ibn Ezra writes on this verse, "Holiness is an essential attribute of the Lord. It is therefore the same in every place." God showed Isaiah this vision that he might purify himself from the uncleanness of the lips. For the Lord is holy, and so also should be God's servants and messengers. In our prayers, we imitate the angels, and we try to match them in their holiness. But we can't lose sight of the fact that we are entirely different beings. The angel's grasp of holiness comes from having an ethereal and abstract existence that prevents the perception of being separated from God. The unity they experience is beyond our comprehension. A human understanding of holiness comes from having to battle against the barriers between us and unity. Though we can't see God as clearly as the angels can, we have the special task of unmasking God in a world where holiness is hidden. This, according to Rabbi Nachman, part of the role of the tzaddik, is to bring that holiness out of others. When someone is down, he says, the person needs to be reminded that Kedusha is not out of reach. There's a holiness in them. There's holiness all around them. And it is all part and parcel of the holiness of the One. Rabbi Nachman taught, "For there are those who dwell in the dust, who are sunk in the lowest levels, to whom it seems as if they are very distant from the Blessed One. The tzaddik has to rouse and wake them, as in awake and sing out, you who dwell in the dust." Isaiah 26:19. He must reveal to them that God is with them and that they are close to him because the whole earth is filled with his glory. And he must encourage and rouse them so that they do not despair, God forbid, for they are still with God and close to him because the whole earth is filled with his glory. When we repeat the words of the angels, who know with absolute certainty, "Holy, holy, holy is Hashem of hosts," we get a glimpse of the clarity we're called to uncover in all places and at all times. The job of a human in a flawed world isn't the same as the role of an angel in a perfect realm. However, with prayer, we can draw the angelic sense of God's love, justice, truth, and beauty into our human minds. Personally, I find it meaningful that holiness is the third blessing of praise because we get into the blessings before we get into the blessings of requests. When I say it, I try to see that God is the central manifestation of holiness in what appears to be our mundane lives. Yes, we'll pray for our basic needs soon, such as our health and security. But first, we place our attention on the extraordinary that's beyond us, and the extraordinary that's right here. By marrying the holy to the ordinary, we infuse the holy into our everyday needs, raising it all to a higher level, showing that it was all saturated with God's glory all along.